She says an Uber driver refused to take her for a ride because of her wheelchair.
Athlete repeatedly rejected by Uber drivers because of her service animal. And we first brought the story with
because of her wheelchair.
When will this be over? Hi, we are InnoWave, our group composed of me, Nicole, Vishnu, Pedro and Nathan. Today we're going to talk about the problem we found, our solution, what it is, how it works, how our project is effective, roadmap, the future of the project, and then why Uber should have Uber Ava.
As we saw at the beginning of the video, many people with disabilities complain about the treatment, few options and the time it takes to travel by land. With Uber, it is indifferent. There have been cases where blind people couldn't take a drive because the driver did not let them go with their guide dog, or they were mistreated, people with wheelchairs that the car did not have enough space for their wheelchair, and many other cases like these. Also, Uber has a specific service for people with wheelchairs. It's called InnoWave, for wheelchair accessible vehicles. But disability rights advocates say those cars are rarely available. In other words, it is necessary to increase transport's availability for people with special needs, and that's why we created Uber Ava.
Uber Ava is an extension of the Uber system, but with the option to be more accessible for users with disabilities. And thinking the well-being of the driver and the users, our system incentives the driver improve, seek better treatment for users, will have more support and car availability. Here is our prototype. As you can see, we have two flows, driver's path and the user's path. Let's begin with the driver's path. This is the Uber app that already exists, but let's begin in clicking next, ride with car, and here you can choose if you have a vehicle or if you need one. So I pretend that I have one, and here you can choose if this vehicle is common or if accessible. What's the difference between them? It's just because the accessible vehicle is adapted with a dog belt and wheelchair support. So I will pretend I have a common vehicle, and here you can choose if you have accessibility training, like if you did another school, or if you don't have accessibility training yet. I will put this option. And here you can choose if you want to do the accessibility training. But remember, every user needs to do the accessibility training one day, and we have 3 months since you are registered in the app. So I want to do it now. Continue, and here we have the accessibility training platform. You can see a video teaching you how getting started with Uber Ava, and continue. Here you can choose the training you want to do. If you have a vehicle adapted, you can choose this option, but if you don't have accessible vehicle, you choose this option and continue. Here you have all the classes, all the videos you need to do, and when you finish you need to take the test. And this is the test, and when you finish the test you get a certificate, and you need to register this certificate here and continue. When a driver is called for a ride, this model appears, and now we addicted this icon that shows the disability of the user, and if you touch here you can see the message, and you can hear too saying about how you can improve their experience. Like if your passenger is blind, how can you take care of the guide dog, how you can take care of the person. And we have all the disability here, the deaf people, the muted people, and people who use wheelchair and that stuff. And now we have the user's path. Let's begin clicking continue. And now you have this question asking if you have any disability and what disability do you have. And now you can see in the account page we have a new icon that shows for your drive what disability do you have. And when you ask for a ride, will appear 2 more options, Uber Ava and Uber Ava Plus. The difference is just because the Uber Ava is the adapted car, and the Uber Ava is just normal car but with qualified drivers. So I will choose this option, and when you finish your drive you can see a personalized feedback for each disability. In this case I said I have blindness, so I can hear everything that is right in this page. So I can rate my trip. I can choose the option that asking if my driver was professional or don't. You can also write a comment using your voice and send. And here is our Figma design with prototypes, and that's it. To motivate the driver, our solution consists of reducing rates. Rate reduction depends on level, and the driver can increase the level doing more trips and having good feedbacks. With accessibility levels, the driver will be more recommended. In level 0, the driver won't have any reduced height because he needs to do more trips. In level 1, the driver will have 5% of reduced height. Level 2, the driver will have 10%. And level 3, the driver will have 15%. With an adapted car, the driver can have a 20% of reduction rate, and here in the driver profile, you can see his level.
Incentive. Incentive is a very effective tool to make people be interested in things that are beneficial not only for them but for all. It builds a sense of motivation that drives the person towards an ideal.
Training. Everything starts with knowledge. This training will be a great tool for the driver to participate, looking to improve themselves, moved by the incentive and empathy, which is also one of the topics at the training.
Practicality. Our system is a very user-friendly with intuitive icons and direction to be soft and practical as possible.
A win-win system. Our proposal was to create a system that benefits all the parts involved, the client, the driver, and Uber. And with all this, we can bring you more accessibility.
At this moment, the project is just a prototype of the idea. We want to add more accessibility, adding places that the driver normally doesn't go to take customers, adding places where the car takes a while to arrive due to traffic, adding training for people with specific mental disabilities, such as epilepsy. The expectation is that in the future, after improvements, the project will be integrated in the Uber app, adding even more availability.
So, considering everything that has been said, with UberAva, Uber will have more drivers. As UberAva is a very advantageous option due to the benefits, more people will apply to be drivers at Uber. More clients. The problem is the lack of availability of accessible cars, which causes many people to cancel rides. We fixed this problem by adding another ride option, where the car is not adapted, but the driver will have training and will serve all people. Friendly company image. To clean up the mistakes from the past and the lawsuits, this will be a solution to grow the company's image. Doing what is right. According to the law, every driver has to take a person with disabilities to their destination, which we know a lot of times doesn't happen.
It is a duty to accept all people, regardless of their disability. Accessibility is a matter of respect, not a structure. UberAva, always available to you.